Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how quickly time slips away? 1 minute, you're in your 70s, feeling like there's plenty of time ahead, and the next, you're looking back with a lifetime of experiences, lessons, and yes, regrets. The truth is, time waits for no one, and the choices we make today shape the years to come. Make no mistake, the decisions you make now, from how you move your body to how you spend your money and time, will determine the quality of your life as you grow older. And I'm here to share insights from someone who has lived through it all, someone who has learned these lessons the hard way. So you don't have to. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Looking back, I used to think exercise was something I could do whenever the mood struck, whenever I felt like it. But after that morning when I wobbled, just getting out of bed, something inside me shifted. Slowly, I began to realize my legs weren't what they used to be. I'd trip over small steps, lose my balance, and feel the ache in my muscles long before I'd ever felt them before. If only I could go back to when I was 70, knowing what I know now. I would tell myself, strengthen those legs, strengthen your back while you still have the chance. Back then, I could walk every day, carry my groceries without a second thought, and take my mobility for granted. But time is such a sneaky thief. It steals your strength little by little, and before you know it, it's too late. I now see how important it was to keep up with daily stretching or even light weight training just 5 minutes a day, morning and night. How could I have been so blind to what my body would need in my 80s? By the time I reached that age, it was too late. Gardening, something I could do for hours at a time, now causes me knee pain after just 10 minutes. How had I let that happen? I feel such a deep regret knowing that a little commitment back then would have saved me so much pain now. I can't help but think of my neighbor, Mr. Yoshida, who is a few years older than me. He started doing radio exercises in his early 70s and has never stopped. Now, even in his 90s, he's still out there shopping and cleaning his house, living life on his terms. The difference between us, despite being the same age, is so stark. And it stings. How I wish I had developed the habit of moving my body with intention in my 70s. It wouldn't have taken much, just simple things like seated leg lifts or daily walks. If only I had made these small, consistent efforts a part of my life, I'd be in such better shape today, physically and emotionally, if I had. It doesn't take hours, just 5 or 10 minutes a day done while watching TV after meals or relaxing after a bath could have made all the difference. Now, looking back, I feel an overwhelming sense of loss. How foolish I was to think that I could always put it off for later. Time slips by, and once it's gone, it's never coming back. As I reflect on those lost moments of strength, I've also realized something just as important: how I spent my money. In my 70s, I was afraid of running out of savings, afraid of what the future might hold. I worried endlessly about the possibility of living longer than expected, of facing expensive medical bills. So I clung tightly to my wallet, scrimping and saving, never allowing myself to enjoy the money I had worked so hard to accumulate. But now, looking back, I see how misguided that was. I regret not spending more on the things that truly brought me joy, on experiences, on travel, on hobbies. I should have spent more on living in the present, on making memories rather than hoarding my savings. There were so many places I wanted to see: the autumn leaves in Kyoto, the hot springs in Beppu, the view of Mount Fuji that had captivated me when I was younger. I always said, maybe next time, putting it off. But now, in my 80s, my body can't keep up with those dreams. I couldn't visit those places, and it breaks my heart. If I had just spent that money when when I was still able to walk those paths, to enjoy those sights, it wouldn't be too late. Spending money on experiences, on enriching your life, is not a luxury. It's essential. We all need to live fully, not just for the future, but for now. I used to think saving for some distant time was the best thing I could do. But if you can't enjoy the present, what's the point of all the savings in the world? I think of my dear friends, Mr. and Mrs. Takahashi. They started traveling in their 70s, taking small trips every year, filling their lives with beautiful memories. At the time, I thought, isn't that too much? Shouldn't they be saving? Now, I see that they were right all along. Mr. Takahashi now lives alone after his wife passed, but he treasures those trips. He says, often, I'm so glad we did that back then. Those memories have become his most cherished possessions. And I promised my wife that we would travel to Kyushu once we had more time. But then she fell ill, and the chance slipped away. If I had just made the reservation then, I would have those memories now, not this deep, aching regret. I should have spent more on things that made me truly happy, on enjoying music at concerts or cooking with the best ingredients I could afford. Now, I realize that money spent on things that enhance your quality of life is never wasted. It's the best kind of investment you can make, and it lasts forever in your heart. And as I reflect on all these regrets about how I've spent my time, my money, and my energy, another realization comes to me. I spent so much time trying to expand my social circle, to join clubs and attend reunions. I thought I needed to be surrounded by people that socializing would fill the emptiness of my life. But as I've gotten older, I understand something far more important. It's not about the quantity of relationships, it's about the quality. In my 80s, I've come to cherish the few truly meaningful relationships I've built, and I wish I had focused on that sooner. Spreading myself too thin, trying to connect with everyone, left me exhausted and unfulfilled. Now, looking at the time I have left, I wish I had deepened my connections with those who truly mattered, those whom I could rely on for love and support. The value of relationships that bring joy and fulfillment far outweighs the need to be everywhere, to know everyone. And that is a lesson I carry with me now, with all the wisdom and regret that comes with age. As I reflect on the years gone by, one of the most important lessons I've learned is that having just a few friends, those whom you can truly talk to comfortably, is more than enough. When you get older, you realize how much more meaningful it is to spend time with those who genuinely bring peace into your life. It's not about how many people you know, it's about the quality of those relationships. This is something I wish I had realized when I was in my 70s. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment one below to let me know that you are still here with me. I used to think I had to attend every gathering, be part of every conversation. Even if I didn't connect with the people there, I would force myself to go to neighborhood events, even though I didn't particularly enjoy them. Some of those people, to be honest, didn't bring me joy. They gossiped, they complained, and they drained me without me even realizing it. But I thought it was my duty, my responsibility to be part of everything. Now, I understand that my time could have been so much better spent doing something. I truly enjoyed with someone who brought out the best in me. Imagine if I had stayed home, quietly sipping tea with a friend I connected with, or simply enjoyed a peaceful moment catching up on the phone. That would have nourished my soul far more than forcing myself into exhausting social situations. I think about my old classmate, Mr. Matsumoto. In his mid-70s, he stopped going to most of the community gatherings. People talked about him, calling him aloof, saying he had changed. But Mr. Matsumoto had figured something out that I hadn't yet understood. He was no longer going to waste his precious time with people who didn't add value to his life. He chose to focus on deeper, more meaningful relationships, and now I can see how wise his decision was. In my 70s, I was still trying to please everyone, spreading myself thin and exhausting myself in the process. But looking back now, I know I would have been much better off investing my time in relationships that truly mattered. In your 70s, you still have so much to give, so many ways to help others, but you also need to know where to direct your energy. It's important to cherish those moments where you can make a difference, whether it's lending a hand to a friend, volunteering your time, or simply being present for someone who needs you. That's how you build lasting connections, how you create a legacy that truly matters. As I've entered my 80s, I've started receiving more help from others, which has been a humbling experience. It wasn't until recently, however, that I learned the invaluable lesson of expressing gratitude and letting go of my pride. Being able to say thank you with a full heart, to accept help graciously, have become essential parts of my life. Pride can be such a heavy burden, and as I've gotten older, I've learned that letting go of it makes everything feel lighter, more joyful. Another thing I've learned, and something I want to stress, is the importance of laughter. As we age, physical aches and pains are inevitable. Anxiety becomes a companion in your everyday life. But how you respond to those challenges makes all the difference. One day, I went shopping and, to my embarrassment, forgot my wallet. When I was younger, I would have brushed it off with a quick laugh, maybe even felt a little annoyed, but I wouldn't have given it much thought. But at 80, I started to worry, is this the beginning of dementia? What does it mean when I forget something so simple? But then the cashier, bless her, looked at me kindly and said, "It's okay. You can pay next time." At that moment, I just laughed. I said, "Oh, I'm just an old person. I guess this happens sometimes." She smiled, and the whole atmosphere around us lightened. In that moment, a small mistake turned into a shared joke. We both laughed, and for a brief moment, the world felt a little less heavy. It made me realize that if I had started doing this in my 70s, laughing at myself, accepting the imperfections, I would have lived a much lighter, more enjoyable life. When you accept things with a smile, even the hardest moments seem a little softer. It's like when I first started using a cane. I resisted it so much. I didn't want to admit that I was that old, that I needed help. But then, a friend of mine joked, "Nice cane, it's quite fashionable." Without missing a beat, I replied, "Yes, it's the latest in senior fashion." We both burst out laughing. And at that moment, I felt lighter. The cane wasn't a burden anymore. It was just part of the journey, something to embrace with humor. When you can laugh at the small things, the difficult moments become much easier to bear. I've also learned that as we age, memory lapses become more frequent. You forget names, you forget what you just said, and sometimes even the simplest things slip through your mind. It's frustrating, yes, but it's also part of the process. What matters is how we respond to these little slips. It's okay to laugh at yourself, to not take everything so seriously. Life becomes so much more enjoyable when you learn to accept those forgetful moments with grace. In the end, life is too short to waste on things that don't bring you joy, on relationships that drain you, or on worrying about the little things. The real treasures are the moments of laughter, the deep connections, and the ability to look at life's challenges with a smile. And if I could go back and give advice to my younger self, I'd say, don't be afraid to embrace your imperfections, cherish those who truly matter, and most of all, laugh. Life is so much better when you do. As I reflect on the years that have passed, I realize just how powerful laughter can be. When you forget something, instead of getting frustrated or beating yourself up, it's so much better to laugh and say, "Thank you for dealing with my forgetfulness." That simple act of laughter not only lifts your spirit, but also spreads a little joy to those around you. It's magical. Laughter can make you forget the pain in your body, the discomfort, the struggles. It lightens everything. And that's why, if I could speak to my 70-year-old self, I would tell him, laugh more, forgive yourself more. Life is too short to be hard on yourself. A smile, a little chuckle at your own expense, can change the whole energy of a moment, and you never know how much it might help someone else feel better, too. I often think about my sister who lived to 92. She was always smiling, always ready to find the humor in any situation. I remember once when she fell and broke a bone. Instead of letting the pain or frustration get to her, she laughed and said, "I became too friendly with the stairs," and hugged them. And that made everyone laugh, too. Her ability to find humor in even the toughest situations was one of the things that made her so beloved. It was her smile, her laughter, that helped her live peacefully until the end. That's the magic of laughter. It's not just a way to lighten the mood, it's a way to live a life full of joy and peace, no matter the challenges you face. As you grow older, anxiety and worries can creep in. Health issues, the state of the world, the uncertainty of the future, all these things can weigh heavy on your heart. But whether or not you can laugh at those anxieties, whether you can let them roll off your shoulders, can make all the difference in how you live the rest of your life. The richness of your days doesn't come from avoiding problems, but from how you face them. Sometimes it's also essential to take time for yourself. When I was in my 70s, I spent so much time focusing on meeting people, on being out there, on fulfilling obligations. But I didn't always give myself the chance to just sit quietly, to reflect on what I really wanted and what truly mattered to me. I wish I had given myself those moments of stillness, even just 10 minutes in the morning to sit quietly, breathe deeply, and check in with my feelings. I didn't realize how much that time could have calmed my mind, how much it would have made my day more peaceful and centered. Looking back, I can see how much of my stress in my 70s came from not pausing to reflect. If I had made that a daily habit, I would have been less overwhelmed by unnecessary worries and anxieties. Another lesson I've learned is that learning never stops. I was so hesitant to try new things when I was younger, but as I've gotten older, I've realized that it's never too late to learn. There's always something new to explore, always something that can expand your world. At 85, I started using a smartphone, and it opened up a whole new world for me. I could finally make video calls to my family who live far away, something I wish I had done earlier, something I could have done in my 70s. But the important thing is that I didn't give up. There's always time to try something new. So, to my 70-year-old self, I would say never stop learning. Don't be afraid to dive into something new, whether it's technology, hobbies, or anything else that sparks your curiosity. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment below to let me know that you are still here with me. And one of the most important pieces of advice I'd give to anyone in their 70s is this: don't procrastinate. Don't put off the things you can do now, whether it's focusing on your health, nurturing your relationships, or even indulging in something that brings you joy. Every choice you make now shapes the years to come. When I was 70, I thought I had all the time in the world. But in the blink of an eye, 20 years passed. That's how quickly life moves. Time doesn't wait. And if you don't take action now, you may miss opportunities that you'll regret later. So I would say to my 70-year-old self, start today. Don't wait for tomorrow. The little habits you build now, moving your body, spending money on what makes you happy, deepening the relationships that matter, will all pay off in the future. You don't have to be perfect. It's okay to take it slow, but don't think it's too late. It's never too late to start now. What I wish I had known then is that life is meant to be lived fully, no matter your age. You're still young at 70. Don't be afraid to try new things, meet new people, to explore new places. Don't be afraid of failure. The only regrets I have at 90 are the things I didn't try. The mistakes I made, the failures I experienced, they've all turned into funny stories I can laugh at, but the regret of not having had the courage to act, that's something that still lingers. So, to my younger self and to anyone reading this, I'd say, never forget to express gratitude. Saying thank you is a magical phrase. It not only makes the other person feel good, but it makes you feel good too. As we age, we can't do everything on our own, and those who help us deserve our deepest thanks. The more gratitude you express, the more you'll be cherished by the people around you. I often hear people say that we should cherish every day, and it's are you. Waking up in the morning and being thankful that you're alive, that simple act of gratitude will change how you see the world. When I was 70, I put things off, thinking I had plenty of time. Now I realize that time is precious. So don't wait. Start living today. Don't make the same mistake I did. As we come to the end of this reflection on life, laughter, and the valuable lessons we've learned over time, I want to ask you, what have you learned so far? Is there something that resonated with you deeply? Something you'll take with you as you move forward? I'd love to hear what one lesson you plan to practice in your own life. Please share your thoughts in the comments below this video. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to leave your comment, give us a like, and share it with others who could benefit from these reflections. And, of course, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss an inspiring video. We look forward to hearing from you and growing together. Thank you for watching.